Final Fantasy VIII, a very systems heavy game. I find it to be a very interesting Final Fantasy to talk about. Was very excited to get this Christmas morning for my PlayStation. Overall I love this one, but at the same time I can openly admit that this game has a lot of design flaws, from overly complicated systems with overwhelming tutorials very early on, level scaling which makes fighting monsters and leveling up completely pointless, and the way magic works in it means you're using up your valuable magic stockpiles and becoming weaker every time you cast a spell. But like I said, I still love this game. Once you've gained a mastery over its complicated systems, it's very satisfying building up overpowered characters. I think 8 has some of the best side content in the entire series, from hunting down rare summons. At this time summons are called Guardian Forces, to Triple Triad, the first Final Fantasy card game, and it is brilliant. It's not just addictive completing the card collection, you can use your Guardian Forces abilities to convert cards into crafting materials or powerful magic. Effectively, this completely optional card game can be used as an alternative form of progression. This is my Final Fantasy series. I'm going through each main Final Fantasy every month and ranking them against each other as I go. We're on month 8, here's the rankings so far, and by the end I'll decide where Final Fantasy VIII fits into these rankings, and it's going to be a very interesting one and difficult one to rank. Okay, so we play Squall, a student at the military school of Balam Garden, in training to become part of the mercenary force Seed. This world has 3 gardens that metaphorically grow these seeds, and their objective is to defeat an evil sorceress. Now 8 sounds nothing like the previous 7 Final Fantasy games, but I can assure you 8 is a Final Fantasy through and through and an authentic part of the Final Fantasy legacy. Your very first training mission is to go to the nearby fire cavern and defeat the Guardian Force, Ifrit. Awesome fight, and it makes it clear, hey, there's all this military stuff, but we're still Final Fantasy at the core. I think Squall is one of the more misunderstood main characters in the Final Fantasy series. You can get a bit of hate, he is a bit miserable, doesn't trust anyone, and usually replies to everyone with his iconic whatever. Yeah, he's a bit of a moody teenager, and it's part of his journey. Eventually we learn that his issues stem from his fear of losing others, and his insecurities after being raised in an orphanage and abandoned by his sister. Final Fantasy VIII is the journey of Squall developing as a person, overcoming his insecurities, learning how to express his feelings and depend on others, and eventually even falling in love. And if you love this content, consider subbing or liking the video. It's an amazing help trying to grow the Peter Bytes channel, cover RPGs in all shapes and sizes. After this I'll be delving a little bit further into 8 with a Guardian Forces tier list. Thank you. So I think Final Fantasy VIII is overall a pretty good story, just falls a tiny bit short in some areas. Like I wish the side characters got a little bit more developments in their stories. Previously in Final Fantasy VII we got so many minigames. Admittedly they varied in quality. 8 has a lot less minigames, but one exceptional one. Triple Triad, and I really want to talk about this card game. Basically, at any point in the game you can challenge almost anyone to a match of Triple Triad with the square button. It starts out as a very basic card game with you playing on a 3x3 grid, and basically the bigger the numbers the better. Now it's addictive trying to collect all the rare cards and battling everyone to its snazzy music, but to take Triple Triad a step further you can use your Guardian Forces abilities to convert cards into various rare items or magic, or even transform enemies into cards to complete your collection. So if you put your time into Triple Triad, it can be used as an alternate form of progression. It's even possible to earn the very rare materials required to craft ultimate weapons through Triple Triad early in the game, but you've got to put the time in. It's incredible, but like a lot of things in 8, it's a little bit double-edged. There's one bit of Triple Triad I don't like, the advanced rules. So as you're playing Triple Triad across the world, new rules will start to spread that make the game a little bit more complicated. But some of the later rules I find really annoying, like the random rule, that doesn't allow you to pick which cards you play with, they're instead chosen randomly. And I've touched on Guardian Forces. A lot of classic Final Fantasy summons return, like your Shiva, Ifrit and Bahamut, and 8 even introduces completely new ones like the badass Diablos. To encounter Diablos, you'll need to use a magical lamp you can get from the Garden's headmaster. Diablos is a fairly challenging early boss, but very rewarding once he joins you, and you can junction him into your characters to deeply customize them and gain access to his special abilities like Mug, that lets you steal items from enemies. And this is where Final Fantasy VIII really shines, going off the beaten track to earn those Guardian Forces and discovering what abilities they'll grant you, exploring the Tomb of Kings for the Minotaur brothers, challenging Cerberus, finding the Jumbo Cactuar or hunting Tonberries to draw out the Tonberry King. You don't have to earn these Guardian Forces, but they're so good you want to go out of your way to do this side content. So there's some pretty epic cinematic moments in 8. My favourite is when the two Gardens clash with each other and there's a full out war between them. Can't stress enough just how insane this was on the PlayStation 1. Laguna is probably my favourite character in 8. He's the polar opposite to Squall and really goofy, and you'll experience Laguna's story in dreamlike sequences as you progress the game and eventually see how his story ties in. The main antagonist is Sorceress Ultimecia, who pretty much wants to destroy existence with what she calls time compression. You don't actually come face to face with Ultimecia until the final moments of the game. Instead, she acts through possessing others, so the antagonist doesn't feel quite as personal in 8. She's not the strongest antagonist in the series, but there's also Cypher, a rival character that stands in your way across the game. There's a badass Cypher moment I really like where he kills one of your Guardian Forces, Odin. Got some nitpicks with the gameplay. I really hate level scaling in RPGs. It's a pity 8 has level scaling. It's a really silly design choice because it makes more sense to keep your characters low level and run away from every encounter, rather than earning experience points and leveling up. That's not how RPG should work. And while 7 introduced limit breaks, 8 also has limit breaks, but instead of filling a limit break bar, you can pretty much freely use your limit breaks whenever your characters are low on health. So the strategy with 8 is to keep your characters low health and spam limit breaks. It's overpowered but silly and fun. And something that still annoys me today, the game will randomly unjunction all of your Guardian Forces and abilities at points during the story but not tell you. And this caught me out even while I was recording and replaying this for about the 20th time. I'd go into combat with characters having nothing equipped. But if you can work around these, there's a really fun system-heavy Final Fantasy that's really satisfying and rewarding to play. Alright, time to rank number 8, and it is hard to rank. I really like 8, but I can admit it's got a few design problems. Story and characters are decent, love Triple Triad and how I can use it to progress my characters, and I think where 8 is at its best is with its side content to earn new Guardian Forces. Final Fantasy VIII is one I always enjoy replaying. Some pretty epic moments no matter how many times I replay it, like the Battle of the Gardens, and I always go out of my way to do all the extra side content and get all the Guardian Forces. It's fun and really satisfying discovering and making use of each Guardian Force's abilities. It takes a while to get used to its overly complicated systems, but once you've mastered them it makes 8 really fun. I'm going to place 8 just below 6. I'm pretty much entirely positive about 6 and its story and characters give it an edge. There you have it. I'm running a bit late again, but I want to talk a bit more about Guardian Forces and rank them with a tier list, so that should be my next video. Peace for now.